Australia Day is a significant day on the Australian calendar, a day that resonates deeply with the hearts of Australians. Celebrated annually on January 26th, it marks the anniversary of the First Fleet's arrival in 1788, a pivotal moment in the nation's history. This event marked the establishment of the first permanent European settlement in Australia, laying the foundations for the modern nation we know today. The day is a time for national celebration and reflection, a moment to honor the journey of the country and its people. Australians celebrate their country's achievements and diverse culture, showcasing the rich tapestry of traditions and backgrounds that make up the nation. They also reflect on their history and the stories that have shaped their nation, acknowledging both the triumphs and the challenges faced along the way. Australia Day is a public holiday, providing a chance for families and friends to come together and enjoy the day. People across the country participate in various events and activities, from community barbecues and fireworks displays to citizenship ceremonies and cultural performances. The day is filled with joy and festivity. The day is a vibrant tapestry of Australian life, reflecting the unity and diversity of its people. It is a time for Australians to come together and celebrate what it means to be Australian, embracing the values of mateship, fairness, and a fair go for all. The day is also an opportunity to acknowledge the country's past, including the history and culture of the Indigenous peoples, and commit to building a brighter future for all. Through community service and environmental activities, Australians show their dedication to creating a better tomorrow. The story of Australia Day begins with the arrival of the First Fleet, a momentous event that would shape the future of an entire continent. In 1788, a fleet of 11 ships under the command of Captain Arthur Phillip arrived at Botany Bay. This fleet, known as the First Fleet, was a significant undertaking by the British Empire. These ships carried over 1,000 convicts, along with crew and supplies. The convicts were sent to establish a new penal colony, a solution to the overcrowded prisons back in Britain. The British government intended to establish a penal colony in New South Wales. This decision was part of a broader strategy to expand British influence and secure new territories. This decision was driven by a number of factors, including overcrowding in British prisons and the need to secure a strategic outpost in the Southern Hemisphere. The British saw this as an opportunity to relieve their prison system and expand their empire. Upon arrival, Captain Phillip found Botany Bay unsuitable for settlement. The bay's shallow waters and poor soil made it a less than ideal location for establishing a new colony. He decided to move the fleet north to a more suitable location. This decision was crucial for the survival and success of the new settlement. On January 26, 1788, the fleet landed at Sydney Cove, a natural harbour with fresh water and fertile land. This location offered the resources needed for the fledgling colony to thrive. This date marked the beginning of European settlement in Australia. The settlers quickly began to establish a camp, laying the foundations for what would become a major city. It was a pivotal moment in Australian history, forever altering the course of the continent and its people. The arrival of the First Fleet set in motion a series of events that would lead to the development of modern Australia, with all its complexities and challenges. The early years of European settlement were marked by challenges and triumphs. The colonists had to contend with unfamiliar terrain, harsh weather conditions, and the complexities of establishing a new society. Despite these hardships, the colony grew, and with it, a sense of identity began to emerge. Early celebrations of the First Fleet's arrival were primarily private affairs. They were often organized by emancipated convicts who had served their sentences. As the colony prospered, these celebrations became more public and elaborate. By the mid-19th century, January 26th was widely celebrated as Anniversary Day or Foundation Day. These celebrations often included regattas, picnics, and sporting events. As the colonies of Australia moved towards federation in the late 19th century, Anniversary Day took on a new significance. It became a symbol of national unity and identity. The name Australia Day was first officially used in 1935. However, it wasn't until 1994 that all states and territories adopted the name and agreed on a unified national celebration. Over the decades, Australia Day celebrations have continued to evolve, reflecting the changing values and perspectives of Australian society. While the day has always been a celebration of Australian identity, the way this is expressed has shifted over time. In the early 20th century, Australia Day celebrations often emphasized patriotism and military history. Parades, military displays, and speeches by dignitaries were common features. Following World War II, there was a greater focus on multiculturalism and immigration. Citizenship ceremonies became a central part of Australia Day, symbolizing the country's commitment to inclusivity and diversity. Section 5. Modern festivities and national pride. Today, Australia Day is celebrated with a wide range of events and activities. Community festivals, concerts, sporting events, and fireworks displays are held across the country. Many people choose to celebrate with barbecues, picnics, and beach parties, embracing the Australian summer. The day is also marked by the announcement of the Australian of the Year Awards, recognizing outstanding Australians who have made significant contributions to their communities and the nation. The Australia Day Council plays a crucial role in organizing and promoting these celebrations. The Council's mission is to encourage national pride and unity, promote understanding of Australian history and culture, and recognize the achievements of Australians. Through its work, the Council aims to make Australia Day a day for all Australians, regardless of their background or beliefs. Section 6. A day of mourning for Indigenous Australians. While many Australians celebrate Australia Day, it is important to acknowledge that the day holds a very different meaning for many Indigenous Australians. For them, January 26th marks the beginning of colonisation, a period of profound loss, dispossession, and trauma. The arrival of the First Fleet had a devastating impact on Indigenous communities, leading to the loss of land, culture, and language. The ongoing effects of colonisation are still felt today, reflected in the social and economic disadvantage faced by many Indigenous Australians. For many Indigenous people, Australia Day is not a day for celebration, but a day of mourning and reflection. It is a day to remember the injustices of the past, and to call for meaningful action to address the legacy of colonisation. Section 7. Calls for change and recognition. In recent years, there has been growing momentum for change in how Australia Day is celebrated. Many people believe that celebrating Australia Day on January 26th is insensitive to the experiences of Indigenous Australians and that a new date should be chosen. Various alternative dates have been proposed, each with their own significance and symbolism. Some people advocate for a date that celebrates the resilience and survival of Indigenous cultures, while others suggest a date that represents a more inclusive and unifying moment in Australian history. The movement to change the date of Australia Day has gained significant traction, particularly among young people and those committed to reconciliation. Section 8. Reconciliation and a shared future. The debate over Australia Day highlights the importance of reconciliation in Australian society. Reconciliation is about acknowledging the past, respecting Indigenous cultures, and working towards a future where all Australians feel a sense of belonging. It is about creating a society where the rights and aspirations of all Australians are valued and respected. Achieving reconciliation requires listening to Indigenous voices, understanding their perspectives, and working together to create a more just and equitable society. It is about recognizing the shared history of Australia, both the triumphs and the tragedies, and committing to building a better future together. Section 9. A complex legacy, a hopeful future. Australia Day is a complex and multifaceted occasion, deeply rooted in the nation's history and culture. It is a day of celebration for many, filled with barbecues, fireworks, and community events that bring people together in joyous unity. However, for others, particularly Indigenous Australians, it is a day of mourning, a reminder of the colonisation and the suffering that followed. For everyone, it is a day for reflection, a time to consider the nation's past, present, and future. As Australia continues to grapple with its history and its future, these moments of reflection are crucial. It is important to approach these conversations with sensitivity, empathy, and a willingness to listen and learn from one another. Australia Day can be an opportunity for all Australians to come together and reflect on what it means to be Australian, embracing the diversity that defines the nation. It is a time to celebrate the country's achievements, acknowledge its past, and honour the contributions of all its people. It is also a moment to commit to building a future where all Australians feel a sense of belonging and pride, regardless of their background. By embracing the complexities of the day and engaging in respectful dialogue, Australians can work towards a more inclusive and reconciled future. This journey requires effort and understanding, but it is a path worth taking for the betterment of the entire nation. Through education, awareness, and a commitment to justice, Australia can move forward, honoring its rich heritage while paving the way for a brighter, more united future. Let us all strive to make Australia Day a symbol of unity, respect, and hope for generations to come.